Good day, everyone. Welcome to our first Origin Report webinar. For those of you who aren't familiar, Geuine Origin is an importing arm of Volcafe specialty coffee, and we have operations in most of the countries we source from. And a big part of our program is Volcafe Way, our sustainability initiative designed to help coffee farmers achieve sustainable profitability. Today, we're going to be talking with Arnold and Carlos from Molinos, our sister operation in Honduras. We'll be covering basic geography, a little bit of Honduras history, as well as the COVID-19 status. We're also going to talk about the Honduras coffee outlook. We'll feature a few producer highlights. We'll talk about how Molinos has changed the way they work with farmers and what that looks like. We're going to talk a little bit about the challenges and the victories that they face. And we're going to discuss what's next, what we can all expect, and how you as a roaster can participate. We're also going to have a little bit of time for a Q&A at the end, but if you're just too excited, you can always submit a question with the button down at the bottom. And we're also going to have a couple of polls throughout this, so stay tuned for those. So to get things rolling, we're going to do some intros. Hi, I'm Jen. I am the West Coast sales manager for Geuine Origin, and I am based in Portland, Oregon. And today I am drinking some lovely Ethiopia Sidamo. So we're going to do this by the order that everybody's showing up on my end of things, which means it's a different order this time. So Jay, you're next. You're muted.
There we go. I'm Jay Bernalican. I am the East Coast Regional Sales Manager for Geuine Origin. I'm based in Passaic, New Jersey, and I am drinking Ethiopian Geuine Suki.
Thanks, Jay. All right, next up, Cindy.
Hey guys, Cindy here. I'm the Southern Sales Manager for Geuine Origin, coming to you live from Houston. And this morning, I am drinking some wonderful Tanzania pea berry.
Thank you, Cindy. All right, Rob, that means you're up next.
Hey everyone, this is Rob Sulkow. I'm the Digital Manager at Geuine Origin. So excited to be here with my team all across the country and with my team in Honduras. Welcome, Arnold and Carlos and the rest of the Molinos crew.
Thanks for wrangling us all, Rob. All right, Arnold, you are next.
Hi guys, my name is Arnold Garcia. I am a trader in Molinos de Honduras. I've been working here for the past 3 years, and I am based in San Pedro Sula, Honduras, which is basically the main exporting facilities for Molinos. So
thank you, Arnold. And last, certainly never least, Carlos.
Hello, I'm Carlos. I am part of the commercial team. I'm a commercial assistant at Molinos, and I work with, everything involved with sales of coffee and every other aspect of production in Molinos de Honduras.
Excellent. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I know we're really excited about this. And the first thing you might notice is this beautiful picture up on your screen. So what we're going to have first, Carlos and Arnold are going to give a bit of a presentation about Molinos and Honduras, and then we're going to get into some panel discussion. So take it away.
hi guys, thank you. Well, first of all, we wanted to start with a little slideshow to show you guys a little bit about, the Honduras as a country in general, about coffee situation in the whole country, and then a little bit about what we do in Honduras and all the work that we've been doing for the past few years. So let me show you guys a little bit about our country. We have a population of around 9.2 million people in the entire country, and we have around 18 states. And 15 of these states are coffee producing regions. So it's basically a lot of land that we have for coffee producing. We have around 120,000 square kilometers of area, and arable land is around 12.98%. And coffee, as you know, is one of our key agricultural products, if not, it is #1 agricultural product compared to bananas, corn, and African palm and other products that we also work with, but coffee is #1. In labor force, we have a 4.3 million people, which 28% represents coffee. So it is a very large percentage of the entire labor force in the country. And as you can see, the population below the poverty line is close to 70%, 66%. So it's a very high percentage, and Honduras is a very poor country, and a lot of the people live day by day of their incomes, you know. So they pretty much, agriculture is pretty much a big part of what we do in Honduras, and coffee being the number one. So to show you guys a little bit about the outlook of coffee in the country, there is around 400,000 hectares of land planted with coffee and 365,000 in production currently. The other is production that is currently not producing or is in the process of producing in the future. The average yield per hectare is around 15 bags of 60 kilograms. And our harvesting period is from November to May usually, or sometimes it can be pushed back a little to December, to start in December. And sometimes it can be pushed up earlier towards the end, you know, which might be April in some cases. Like this year, it was December to March and a little bit of April. So the average size of farms are between 2 and 3 hectares. And that means 98% of the producers in the country are small producers. We have around 135,000 coffee growers in the country. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit about the internal market distribution and how these producers sell their coffees to all the other parties in the country. 70% of the producers sell their coffees to intermediaries, 15% to exporters, and the other 15% sell coffees to cooperatives and other producer associations, which have been a big part of the last couple of years in the transformation not only Molinos has seen, but Honduras as a whole. And yeah, we think that the recovery from the leaf rust outbreak that we had a few years ago is nearly 100% complete, and new plantations and renovations are, you know, overcompensating for that production that was lost during that time. And for the future, we believe the production is gonna go down a little bit due to the few factors, you know, and as we can see in the crop volume evolution, the 16 and 17 crop and 17-18 crop were the highest of the last couple of years because these were the years that the plants from the leaf rust outbreak were at their peak levels. So from 11-12, which was pretty much when the leaf rust happened, the 16, 17, and 17, 18 were the peak years, and now we're starting to see a little decline towards this year and next year. And that is because of, you know, the price situation and the market situation, and the producers don't have enough income to maintain their farms. And sometimes also weather conditions affect into this, and well, a few other factors, you know, like people migrating towards, you know, other countries and stuff like that happen to affect this directly. So we expect next year to be a little bit less than this year. And this year was 15 to 20% less than last year. So that's a little bit of numbers for you guys. And Molinos de Honduras takes part as the 7th largest exporter in the country. And we were established in 1960, and we have 7 different agencies in the country located strategically to be able to access, you know, the most suitable and top quality coffees in the country. And San Pedro Sula being the main exporting mill, and this is where we process all of our coffee and where all of it goes to Puerto Cortes, which is our main port in the country. And we are actually 45 minutes away. So it's actually pretty convenient to be that close to the port. Santa Rosa de Copan, which is located in the western region. Comayagua is in the middle region of the country. El Paraíso, San Nicolás, Lloro, and Peña Blanca are also some agencies that we have throughout the country. And talking a little bit about, you know, our mills and the different purchasing stations that we have throughout the country, we wanted to focus this towards the change that we have had in the past couple of years. Molinos has been working directly with producers and that has been the change happening since 2015, I'm sorry. You can see the trend, how it has changed, how in 2015 we were only working with 17% producers, and now we're up to 60% producers, and cooperatives were only 13% and now 34% currently. So 95% of our purchases come directly from producers or cooperatives that work directly with associated producers that are, supervised and have help and have access to technical assistance and other things that make them, a strategic partner to us.
So we wanted to add some pictures of producers that are part of the lots that Geuine Origin buys to sell over there. And Angel Ramos is one of them that we've seen him grow, because I mean, when he started out, he had a hectare of land, and now he has around 6 hectares of land producing more coffee, of course. And his goal is to keep growing, like for this crop and next crop season. And most of his coffee, I believe, he sells to Molinos, and he has some really great qualities. And it is part of the Guamadanta production for Geuine Origin, which is a really nice coffee. And also we have Silvestre Vasquez, he's part of the Pacavita coffees. And Pacavita is part of the department of Lempira, Marcala, and Tibuca. It's a very different area of production. It's one of the highest areas of production as far as altitude goes in Honduras. And so you can see Silvestre very proud with his coffees. He's been working with us for a while, and his production has been really good, very consistent. And one of the nice things about the producers that work with us is that we've been able to work with them and gain their trust as far as their production and selling their coffees to Molinos goes, because some intermediaries, some exporters have a bad rap here in Honduras. So whenever we work with producers and we buy their coffees, we make sure to tell them that they can be part of the whole weighing the coffee, the physical analysis, the cupping. They can be there through the whole process, so that they know the score, the cupping score that we're giving them and everything, all the information is the right information, and that we're not lying to them or making up anything. And that way we have been able to gain their trust. And now they just basically let us do our job, and they don't interfere because they trust us so much, and they're selling all of their coffees to us. So that's a really good relationship that Molinos has been able to create with the producers. That's really helped us to get more into the specialty coffees here in the country. We're also excited about a project with Geuine Origin, the IWCA. So we're gonna start selling soon through Geuine Origin coffee produced by women. This is something that's been growing a lot here in Honduras, and we're hoping, I believe we have not announced yet the name for the coffee that we're gonna sell through Geuine Origin, but it's an exciting process. There's a lot of great women producers here in Honduras, so we wanna highlight them. And I believe that, and we know that they produce some really good coffees. And last year, one of the events that we had, the Café Gourmet, it's called here in Honduras, women producer was the one who, she won the first place. So we're really excited about this coffee being sold through Geuine Origin. And basically here, since we changed our strategy from buying from intermediaries to directly to producers and cooperatives, one of the advantages that we have with working with co-ops is that they have all the certifications needed, and this helps the producer too, because they can be paid better for their coffees since they're able to certify them through co-ops. And the relationships we've been able to create with co-ops have been really good, and we're finding that the quality control in co-ops is way better from what we've seen than actually buying from intermediaries. So it's been an advantage for us, and it's helped us also find new coffees and different profiles and get more into the specialty side of the business. And also us as Molinos, we have our own cupping quality team, which really helps us find great coffees for you guys over there. And we're always working diligently. as part of the commercial team, we also work with the quality team, and we're always cupping the coffees too. It's part of our job, and it's an exciting part of our jobs. We're spoiled because we find so many great coffees that we cup all the time, and so we have our quality cupping team, and they're in charge of finding all the great coffees that we can get to be able to sell over there, and to get better qualities each year. Also through Volcafe Way, which is our technical assistance program, we're working with producers to help them better their production qualities, their coffee qualities, and how to manage their farms. It's been a challenge, definitely, because some producers are used to doing it one way, and they don't want to change what they're used to. But word of mouth has helped us, because producers who work with us have seen an increase in their production, and they tell other producers, and now those producers want to work with us. And we have technicians in all of the model farms, and also visiting producers, so that we can work with them directly and help them with their production, and for them to grow. And we just have like a small slide about what's going on here in Honduras. I mean, what's going worldwide with COVID-19. Here we've been in full lockdown for a month and a half now. And so far, it's been challenging because, well, we've had to work from home, and it's not the same to be here at home and not be able to be in the office, and not be able to work with quality and cupping coffees, and it's been a tough challenge, but we've been able to pull through that. And we have so far 494 cases confirmed and 46 deaths. And most of those a lot of those cases are here in the Cortés area, because this is one of the most populated areas, and it's also called the industrial capital of Honduras, because most businesses are in this area. So that's another thing that's made it really challenging, because in a way people don't want to stop working, because here in the Cortés area and San Pedro Sula, it's where the big economic movement is for the country. So we're hoping that soon we'll be able to get back to the office and work normally, but we'll see. That is the current situation here in Honduras. And this is just to end the presentation. We just have some pictures for you guys to see of the country and of coffee farms.
That's beautiful. I know a few people, including Cindy and Rob, and some of our roaster friends, were just out visiting you. That was last month. That was not that long ago, before things got real wild. So it's really been wonderful to hear all of those updates. Thank you for the presentation. And I would say this is my time to remind everyone, please submit questions for Arnold and Carlos with the button down at the bottom of your screen. Also, I think Rob's going to put a poll up right now about roasting Honduras coffee. So check. Oh, look, there it is. I'm not allowed to vote. I'm sad. So please take a few seconds to fill that out. So I would love to hear. It sounds like there's a lot of different challenges right now, but assuming we were at some kind of normal day-to-day operations, Carlos and Arnold, what does your day usually look like?
It's I mean, out of what's going on right now with the COVID, normally we get there early in the morning, and the first thing is coffee, definitely. Mm-hmm. You need some fuel for the day, and usually in the mornings we typically talk to our purchasing department. We talk to them just to see how much coffee we're expecting to buy during the day, and we're also working with our quality team just to see that, because normally we get producers coming in every day to sell their coffees. So those coffees we can cut them during the day, and we're part of that process too. It's something that we try to work directly with quality just so that we know what coffees we're getting in, and we have a better idea of what's going on in the mill. And I'm part of the certification department. So I work a lot with all the Rainforest Alliance, with Fair Trade, with UTS and all that. So that's part of my day to day. I don't know if Arnold wants to add something to what he does during the day.
Well, yeah, pretty much. We do pretty much work together. First of all, can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We work together with Carlos and Ricardo. We're the commercial team, and we pretty much sit in an open office, so we're able to discuss about the topics that we want to cover during the day. And then it is really important for us to have these conversations, because we're usually talking to different clients, like external clients, or with you guys, or people in Europe and the United States and all over Latin America as well. Or we're talking to co-ops and staying on top of, our supply chains, and staying on top of our buyers that are, making different decisions on purchases every day. So it's really important for us to keep in touch with them a lot. And we're also, like Carlos said, we're cupping a lot. We're also, we try to cup as much as we can, we try to cup as much as all of the exporting lots pretty much every day. So I kind of miss that. But I know for a fact that the guys over there in Molinos right now are doing a fantastic job. We're currently working from home, but there's still a team working in Molinos of around 20 to 30 people, and they're doing the best they can to get everything out on time. So hopefully the day comes soon that we're able to safely go back to the office, and hopefully we'll just take it day by day from now. But yeah.
Cool. I think sometimes there can be a little bit of a disconnect in, like, what is it you actually do every day? So thank you for sharing with us. We have just gotten a little question from the audience that I would love to share. Does rainfall affect the ability to do dry or natural processed coffees? Is that something y'all have experienced?
Yes, we have trouble. The rain obviously affects the humidity. Of course, sometimes we use drying coffees on the patios, and sometimes when it rains, we're not able to do that, and by not able to do that, then we have to, because we receive majority of the coffee in wet parchment. So also for the natural coffees, it takes more time and it disrupts a little bit of the process. So it's not the most ideal. So yes, it does have a little bit of, makes it a little bit difficult, the rainfall and the weather, the colder weather, but we try to cope with it as much as we can. And we also have, we have certain machinery like Guardiola dryers that help us, dry when this happens. And this also helps us with the quality aspect of the coffee as well. So we try to work as much as we can, and we've been doing all these things to try to avoid, certain weather factors to affect our coffees and the outcome. So
yeah, cool. And that poll is going to be closing, so if you haven't hopped in on that, please do so ASAP. So it sounds like there are a lot of different challenges that you're experiencing, I mean, from trying to run mills that are processing millions of pounds of coffee to the current situation and working from home and not being in contact as much. But if we look back on the work you've been doing, what are some of the improvements that you've been seeing from producers, and how are you seeing those, whether it's quality or volume or the price they're getting for their coffee? I assume involving the producers in the process is part of what's helping with that. But can you tell us a little bit more?
I've seen recently from producers that we've visited that they're now able to experiment more with their coffees. Like, they're not just doing washed coffees; they're doing natural processes, honey. Some are trying out anaerobic processes. So that's something that we've seen a change towards, because they want to get more into better quality coffees and specialty coffee. So I've seen that, and also some producers are building their own solar dryers. So instead of drying in their patios, they're doing solar dryers, which of course it's better for them to handle their qualities for their coffees. And it's also helped that there's a lot of good donations from different clients from outside that are working directly with producers. And we recently went to a community an indigenous community where they've built 10 solar dryers so far, and they're planning on building more so that they can dry their coffees. It's like 40 to 50 producers in the area, in that whole community, but they want to build more solar dryers so they're able to dry their coffees up there. Because it's really high up in the mountains, so it's a good trek from that area to bring all the coffees down to Molinos. So we've also seen producers that done so well with their coffees that they've been able to buy pickup trucks. So with their pickup trucks, it's nice because they can move their coffees to Molinos, to the mill, but also they help other producers in their community. So in a way, they've done so well, and they're not selfish about it, and they help other producers bring their coffees down to the mills. So yeah, we've seen many producers that are working directly with us that are doing well, that they're improving their living conditions for them, for their families, and their coffee qualities are increasing too.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, please.
No, it is also good to notice that also by working with us, producers usually get around 60% more income than working with intermediaries or other middlemen, you know. So, and that helps them, you know. Of course, not everything is money, but also investing in wet milling equipment or drying equipment, which is going to continue helping them in identifying their lots and identifying better qualities and being able to deliver their coffees separated. And this way they are able to get even more money in return when we pay them for their qualities. So it's a process that's been ongoing, but the producers have seen the change, and these are some improvements that we've seen, you know, these are real. So yeah, I hope that helps. The question.
Totally. Thank you.
Hey guys, first of all, Molinos, fantastic hosts when we were in Honduras only a month ago. Thank you guys so much. While we were there, we got to see some of those experiments that Carlos was talking about going on. We got to see some baby geisha plants. Question from the crowd is, so are we gonna see any of these new methods, processing methods or varietals arriving at Genuine Origin?
I believe so, yes. Hopefully, we're trying to work something for this year. Hopefully, some naturals. We'll see. We're working on that currently and working for a small lot. But yeah, the idea is to be able to offer you guys and be able to expand our range of things that we are able to send to you guys and processes and different varietals. You know, the idea is to grow this as much as we can and be able to offer you guys and all the roasters in the United States and in the world the best coffees from Honduras. So that's our goal, and hopefully we'll get there. We're in the right direction. So
awesome. We look forward to it.
Okay.
Us too.
What has been the biggest challenge in transitioning into working directly with farmers?
Well, before, when we would work with intermediaries, it was just around 20 to 30, maybe 40 intermediaries that we would buy the coffees from. Now we're receiving around 8,000 producers, like all around for our mills. So I mean, the workload, it's increased. It's more challenging, but it is more rewarding too. Because when you work directly with producers, even though you put in more work, sometimes we get producers that arrive there at Molinos, like in Comayagua, and the mill in Comayagua, producers will get there very early in the morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and they'll be there. You will receive producers all the way to like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. And you have to work with them and assist them. So the workloads definitely has increased a lot, but it's definitely a more rewarding experience working with them directly, seeing how that affects their lives, and also gaining their trust too. That's been the other thing that has been a little challenging, but the whole company, Molinos, now as a company, we're all working towards the same goal. So we all understand how we're working that we want to work with producers, and that's our goal. So it's a challenging but rewarding experience in the end.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it is really tough. Another thing that I wanted to add on that is that by working with so many producers, then we have to also offer much more, different things, and we have to we have to adapt to that, to that change as well with our people, internal capacitations of personnel, infrastructure. So we have to change everything towards working directly with producers and training cuppers, training other people that work on scales. Our whole IT system has to change to be able to adapt to working with different producers. We cup so much more coffees now, so you can literally see people coming in and out of the lab every day because we're weighing coffee from each producer, and each producer sometimes brings in different batches of coffee because they're already separating it in different qualities that they have. So each one of these is being cupped separately. So to be able to identify, which ones are the good coffees, which ones are better, and be able to store them properly and dry them properly and separately. So it's a big challenge and a big work, but we've been able to adapt well, and we have a good team that is able to coordinate everything really well, and hopefully that will be going on for the future as well, and many more years to come. So.
Thank you.
Relationship building too with producers, they never forget. So something that they tell you at the beginning of your career in coffee here is don't promise anything if you're not going to actually fulfill it, because producers, like they'll remember who you are. They remember that you told them this, and then they'll probably mention it a little like later on. So relationship building with producers, it's an interesting part of the job. It's a very fun part.
So in this transition from intermediaries to working directly with producers and all of these big changes that you've been making, what are some of the short and long-term goals that have come out of that process for both Molinos, but I mean, I'm sure it varies for producers as well. What is the landscape look like for that?
Well, I think long-term goal is for Molinos to become a specialty coffee powerhouse. For us to create relationships with clients, and that they can try the coffees, they can trust us with the coffees, and that we can provide them with the profiles that they're looking for, and that we can shift more towards like from conventional coffees more to the specialty side of the business. We are doing that already, but we want to grow more in that part as an exporter, and it takes more work. And we have the people that visit producers almost every day, especially in our purchasing departments around the country. They're visiting producers, and we get samples from producers and all that. And it's something that we want to grow for the long term, like for people to know that you can trust Molinos as a specialty coffee supplier.
Excellent.
Hey guys, the Western region seems to present more challenges than other coffee producing regions of Honduras. How do you guys hope to address, or plan to address, or are working to address these additional challenges?
Hi, Cindy, thanks. I mean, the central region, and I think the regions of Comayagua and El Paraíso, I think, are the ones that are currently a little bit behind the Western region. Sorry for the correction. The Western region is a more organized region. That's where Copan is, and where Marcala is, and IWCA, and all these coffees have been already had the presence of cooperatives for a few years now. So these guys are a little bit more organized than the rest of the entire country, like Comayagua and El Paraíso. Nonetheless, Comayagua and El Paraíso already have really good coffees as well. So we want to help them get organized. We want to help them, with technical assistance. We want to help them visiting their farms and making them more productive. We want to help them, get to learn a little bit more about their qualities, because they've not been able to see that in the past. They are used to giving all their coffees to one person and not knowing anything after that. So we want to be able to come back and tell them exactly what coffees they have. We want to be able to finance them properly as well with lower interest rates than the middlemen, for example. And we want to be fair priced, and we want to be able to pay even more price if they deliver good coffee. So I believe there is a ton of potential still out there. So this is what we think is very good, because right now we believe Honduras has not had the best reputation throughout the years, and we want to change that. We want to be able to make people trust us and make direct links to producers, you know, and have them, you know, come down here and see it for themselves, you know, the work that we're doing and the qualities the producers are putting out there. So definitely our challenge is to try to organize them better and try to make them change their mindset a little bit into a more, you know, a modern approach, because a lot of these producers are very traditional and are used to doing things the old-fashioned way. So now there's different things like Carlos mentioned in the presentation, like the Volcafe way and different other projects that we want to introduce to be able to make them more productive and receive more income of their coffees. So
cool. So we've been getting we've gotten a few questions in the chat that really tie into what I wanted to ask about next, because I know one of the things that we hear about a lot on our end is how do I use my money well? How do I buy coffees that I feel good about? How do I know that I'm buying something that's ethical, that's high quality, that's sustainable? And like, I see a question in the chat that you know, asks about what smaller companies can do. How can they, you know, if they're not ordering containers, what are ways they can help? So, I mean, obviously, I'm going to say buy from Geuine Origin, but there's more to it than that. And I would love to hear what you have to say about that.
If you're a small roaster or a small coffee company, I believe that the traceability part, it's something that can help your business and help the producers too. And that's a big emphasis that Geuine Origin has and that we have in Molinos, the whole traceability. So whenever you buy the coffees, if you can get the information for the stories of the producers and all that, so that you can, if you have a website where you sell their coffees, you can put all that story there. You can have that information, and in a way, it's a way to market something. I mean, you're buying the coffees, let's say, from Geuine Origin, and of course you might say, okay, so I buy my coffee from Geuine Origin, but it's not just a business side, but also the traceability side, that it's very important for the producer. It's very important because it's very special for them as producers when they know where their coffees are being sold and that their stories are being told, and that motivates them a lot. I mean, besides, of course, prices for their coffees, like being paid more, it also motivates them a lot to know that the client is not just buying their coffee, but is also very involved in the story of the producer and wants to share that with their clients, with the world. So I think that's a way. I mean, it's a good way to start for small companies and to work with those coffees.
Cool, thank you. We've gotten a couple questions, and I know this has been a topic of conversation for a lot of us, and this is a big question, I'm telling you now. We see, being part of Volcafe, we see millions of pounds of coffee being milled and exported, and with specific to COVID, what kind of supply chain management issues are y'all seeing? Besides that, you have to stay home. We know. We're with you. We feel it.
thanks, Jen. Yeah, there's definitely a few challenges. As you may know, the coffee regions are throughout all the entire country, and some of these departments don't have cases yet. Right now, I think the department that we're in right now is the department that has the most cases. So sometimes the transportation of these coffees to here might become a little difficult, but I think that has been regulated a little bit in the past few days. So I think the flow is going fairly well, I would say. But being undermanned as well also affects, you know, the timing and the workload that we're able to produce. So that is a big factor right now, because people are doing their jobs and somebody else's jobs and somebody else's jobs as well. So that is a huge, that's why I was telling you guys, I respect, it's a huge work they're doing, and I respect these guys a lot, because it's not easy, and we've been able to organize everything, I would say, fairly well. So yeah, I believe the COVID situation, luckily in Honduras right now, we being part of the agricultural business is we are allowed to operate right now with a certain amount of people in each of our mills, and also supermarkets, I believe, and pharmacies, and I think what do they call it? Gas stations are some of the only things that are open right now. Everything else is closed. So we are also, you know, a little bit lucky, but also another challenge is that the shipping lines right now are working, you know, from home, and that makes it difficult on that side, you know, to be able to coordinate with them, you know, all the transportation of these coffees to the port, and being able to do all the bookings properly and on time is really hard, but we're trying our best right now, I guarantee you guys. And everything is trying to make everybody, you know, safe and try to get all the coffees out there as soon as possible.
Thank you. I know I am loving all these questions. Thank you all for participating with us. So we're always excited to hear what's next, what's coming up, what we can be excited about. So I saw that someone asked about varieties of coffee, which I think is a really interesting and exciting question. So someone said they love that Geisha is being grown in Honduras, and do many producers grow SL28 or SL34? And how do producers in Honduras decide what varieties to grow?
It's an interesting question. Yes, we have seen a few producers working with different varietals. I'm not sure of those exact varietals, the SLs right now, but we have seen some geisha, some parainemas, currently people doing the single varieties, caturras, yellow catuais, and we have seen that. But I believe the geishas right now is not something that is, you know, huge, because of how delicate the plant is, you know, and people want to be able to, the majority of the producers here want to be able to play it, you know, safe and not risking it all with, like, let's say a geisha would be. And we have seen, for example, some co-ops doing that because they have a little bit more ability to be able to do that, you know. For example, like Cafico, I think you guys visited, and they're doing some geishas and they have several varietals. But we don't want traditional producers to do that, because we want them to first, you know, get a solid foundation, get a plant that is going to get them productive, that is going to get them the right amount of yields out of their farms. And after that, maybe in the future, we want to you know, involve certain things, different varieties with them. But for now, the parainemas, the Café Noventas, varieties that are resistant to a lot of diseases, that are going to keep them afloat and keep them consistent through the years, are what we're looking for. And after that, then we can start, you know, maybe looking at some different varieties with them, or trying to work with different processes and stuff. So that's why it's been a challenge in Honduras, you know, because it's a challenge, and people, it's a risk as well. And
exactly. I was just going to say that's the other part of it. It's a huge risk to ask. Not to ask that, but for a farmer to plant something like that they can't necessarily depend on for the same quantities.
Yeah, and also we have that's why we have some of our model farms, you know. So we're able to have, you know, our plantings there, where we have the seedings there, and we do our research there. So we are not able to, you know, just tell the producer to do it. You know, we have a center in Tehuantepec, really close to Comayagua, called Finca Las Moras. Here's like an experimental farm that we have. And here we try these different things. And after we learn about the varieties and learn about the things and how to care for them, then we are able to, you know, maybe take them to the farms and tell them and give to the producers some of these plants so they can start doing it on their own. But first, we're doing it, you know, in an experimental way, and then we want to lay it out there after we know everything about them.
Jay, you're muted again.
Can you share with some of the coffees that you're excited for this year?
I'm excited. I mean, for women's produced coffee. I can't tell you specifically what varieties or anything, but I think the marketing opportunity and working with them is going to be exciting. So that's what I'm looking forward to this year specifically, and next year too.
And I know there have been questions in the chat about that, and we will have more info very soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, on that note, I would say this is last call for questions. We've gotten to a lot of them. There are a few more. Let's see. What is the difference between barbecue, patio drying, and a solar dryer?
I don't know. I could not answer that question.
Well, the difference is that the solar dryer is a more controlled environment. It has a better construction, and it has an architecture behind it. These are, you know, for example, like the ones we have in Comayagua, we have the raised beds, and there's an airflow design to it so that the humidity that comes out of the solar dryer doesn't come back in, and it allows the coffee to dry in a lot more time period. So this also affects the quality, you know, and makes it last longer, and it makes it dry more evenly. So this is really important, you know, for us, but there's only, what we're trying to do is a lot of for all the producers to be able to have these solar dryers in their farms, you know, because there's only so much capacity. And that has been another problem in Honduras as well, because a lack of drying capacity at the farms has made producers not know their qualities, because they have to deliver their coffees wet. So by doing that, they don't know. So if they are able to dry their coffees in their patios, they're able to learn about their qualities, and they're able to sell better. But with us, some of the producers deliver the wet parchment, and we have a lot of solar dryers installed in Comayagua, in Santa Rosa, in Paraíso, where we have the key areas to our specialty coffees, and we are able to dry these coffees separately. So for example, a producer comes to us, delivers us wet parchment, and then we're able to dry it separately because we have these controlled solar dryers. And then we're able to come back to them a few weeks after and tell them, hey, this was your coffee. It was actually really good. Here's an extra premium because of that at the end of the season, you know? So these are a few things that have helped us gain the trust of them and motivate them even more. So
that's wonderful. Heads up, there will be an exit poll as well. Please stick around for that. We really appreciate all of you taking this time today with us to talk about Honduras coffees, because I'll speak for everybody. That's fine. I'll speak for everybody here. I know I wasn't very familiar with coffees from Honduras when I started at Geuine Origin, and they've really become some favorites of mine, and I feel like they're incredibly versatile. Like, you want the most chocolatey, fudgy espresso, we can do that with Honduras. And so to me, it's an origin that really deserves more attention. And I'm stoked that this is the first presentation we're getting to do. So I appreciate all of you that hopped on today. So I think that we're about ready to call it. We have one more question. Well, it's come up a couple of times, and it's more, this is more, you know, cultural, like sociologically based, but do you feel like you've seen a lot of influence on coffee production or pricing due to any crime in Honduras?
can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yes. Do you feel like you've seen any influence on pricing or coffee production due to crime?
good question. It's a very controversial question, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to say it as a fact, but I mean, it could be possible. I'm not going to say that, you know, I know people that do that, but yes, we have seen, you know, a few coffee people trying to, you know, do some rigging scales and, you know, trying to pay less or say to people that they're going to pay more and actually not doing it. Some coffee smuggling to other countries as well. So this also affects, you know, the internal pricing, and it's something that we wouldn't want it to be there, but it's something that is there, you know, and it definitely affects. So hopefully people that work with Molinos are never going to go through that. So that's what we want to put out there, that we're paying producers fairly, and what they're going to be able to see that working with us, they're going to be able to obtain more in the end. So
Thank you. I think it's about time to wrap. Let's be real. This is not an easy, normal time for any of us. We all recognize that. And I know Jay and Cindy and I talk to a lot of roasters every week, and it hurts all of us. And again, I'm going to speak for everyone. We're really here to help you and support you through this the best way we can. You know, for roasters out there, we're always happy to talk inventory or order schedules or walk you through the order process. The 65 pounds, 30 kilos is a really, I think, helpful option right now, that you don't have to get tied up in bags and bags and pallets and pallets. If you don't know, you can set stuff to ship as far as 90 days out in the future, and you don't have, like, no money changes hands until that coffee ships. And we're always happy to work with you on that stuff. We want to help you stay connected to the larger coffee community and help you manage your green coffee program and just catch up. We're so here for that. So thank you. Yeah, call Cindy, call Jay, call me. Our phone numbers are on the website, so are our emails. So thank you so much, Arnold and Carlos, for joining us. Thank you, Jay and Cindy and Rob, for being here. It's nice to see everybody's faces. It's nice to hang out and learn a little bit more about what's going on. Huge thanks to the team at Molinos overall. You're gonna be seeing some emails and some social media posts coming up for our next webinar, which is gonna be focused on Guatemala. You're also going to, you actually can see some of the upcoming Honduras coffees on our website right now on the Afloat page, with more to come. And yeah, again, just massive thank you. And please reach out with questions and comments, and let's talk about coffees. And we're going to cup more coffees on Instagram, so stay tuned for that. But on that note, please fill out the exit poll, and we hope to talk to you all soon.